I bet very few of you watching this have ever been to this building before. In fact, this gentleman standing next to me, you know him very well. Lived here since 1982. And as we were walking around, one of the volunteers in there said to him, when he said he'd never been here before,
she was very disappointed in me.
Yes.
I don't blame her.
Yes. And I'm disappointed in myself, and I'm not the tenure that you have. We are out front the Camden County Museum here in Lynn Creek. Used to be the school for Lynn Creek. They moved it here in the early 1930s when they dammed the rivers. And it was a school until the 1975, kindergarten through first, after they moved the big kids up the street. And ever since, it's been a museum. And I just did, so for those of you that watch our videos, you know the video preceding this one, top 6 places, the Lake of the Ozarks, you probably didn't know about, you need to check out. This was one of them. That's how I came upon this. And most of you are familiar with Wilmore Lodge. This place right here blows Wilmore Lodge out of the water with the history inside of this building.
You'd easily spend a couple days in here. And in my defense, Lynn Creek School, that's probably what kept me out of here. I seen school and said, oh, they don't need me back there anymore.
Well, and you know what, in your defense, I've driven down Highway 54, which is just on the other side of this building, 1,000 times. You 10,000, 100,000 times. You can't see it from 54.
No.
So it's kind of hidden back here, and this place is rich. We're talking Civil War, World War, lake history, Indian artifacts, the school artifacts, artifacts from the area, like literally everything. Hahatonka, the castle in Hahatonka, it's got everything.
Artifacts on the old Porter Mill furnace and a sister furnace just like it that was in St. James, just to kind of show what it was.
Or the old dam, the electrical, well, I don't know what
the switch panel.
The switch panel. One of the original 10, it's the only one still left is here.
Huge pictures of the J-Bar H rodeo.
The rodeo. Did anybody know there's a rodeo in Camden?
It was massive.
Yeah, I know this. If you've never been here, which I bet most of you haven't, if you come here, it's only open during the week from 10 to 3. They have events here all the time. I've got an event schedule. You need to get one. They have a market. They call it the Country Market and Bazaar. It doesn't start back up until April. So this place closes down because they don't even have heat in the building.
Very little heat.
Other than a couple of rooms. And so they close down, but they have...
Daphne said dinner theater?
They have theaters, yes. Spools and Needles every Thursday from 12 to 4. They've got meetings. There's one on here that I noticed coming up, I'll tell you, is a Civil War meeting. Civil War and More Roundtable, January 23rd at 6 p.m. Like, I'd be fascinated just to come sit at that table and listen to the stories. Vintage book and vinyl sales. There's all kinds of stuff. It really doesn't kick back up until April. But you need to find time to come here. And I'm not kidding. If you're a history buff, you're gonna spend all day.
Yeah, I mean, you can buzz through here and just get an idea of it in 30 minutes, but it deserves 2 days of your time just to hang out here.
Yeah, I was being light when
So if you got, an hour or two to kill waiting for lunch or just after lunch and want to do something that you've never seen before and learn more about Lake of the Ozarks, because I'm willing to bet if you're on this channel, you're kind of interested in Lake of the Ozarks. Nobody can tell you more about the old stories than this place.
And important to point out, it's only volunteers. This is all non-for-profit, so they keep this place going based on these events that are on this calendar. You can donate. That's really, there's no cost of admission other than a donation. You can buy things like this calendar for $5. This is how they make their money. No one gets paid a dime. I sat down with 4 volunteers this morning and just heard random stories that was really fascinating because all of them have been at the lake for, I mean, Daphne was the newest, and she's been here since 1982, same as you, actually, ironically. So yeah, Camden County Museum, I am disappointed in myself. Daphne's disappointed in you.
Well, you can put a Google Maps with a star on where we're at. So it's actually the downtown of Lynn Creek is back behind the camera over there.
New Lynn Creek.
New Lynn Creek,
right.
Yep. So the road that goes through it, we'd be on the Camden side of that road from downtown. So just west of the downtown Lynn Creek, just off Highway 54. The highway's up there, so you can't even see the back of the building from the highway.
Yeah.
You come down in here, and it's worth your time to make a stop.
It's 206 South Locust. You're basically in between Osage and Camden, too, much closer to Camdenton. Kind of behind Walmart in a way, but maybe a mile down the road.
Yep.
So, Camden County Museum. We are going to go inside now and shoot the November market update. We are in December, and so we're going to take you inside to what was the biggest theater, I guess you could call it, gymnasium with a stage that existed back in the 1930s, which is really cool. So let's just go on and check it out.
Still has the gym floor in there.
Still has we're going to show you all of that.
Yeah, let's go.
Let's do it. Jesse, I don't know if you were a basketball player, but I can actually picture the old school basketball players with the shorts that were all the way up to their nuts. And it's almost like from the movie Hoosiers. So we are sitting inside, obviously, as you can see, the gymnasium with the theater behind us. And you can see the LC, the original LC on the floor. You can see the LC up above the stage there. Jesse pointed out when he went up on stage that they've got sunken tracks for lights, which we'll show you in the B-roll. This was state of the art in 1934.
Yeah, I just don't envision the guys with the shorts all the way up to their nuts.
Oh, well, yeah, sorry to give you that visual.
For some, not for all. The old Camden County judges bench.
Yeah.
Holy smokes.
Yeah, and so the story behind that was they were going to trash it when, and Daphne asked me this, she said, do you remember when shootings started to become common, and I think this is in the 80s, in courtrooms, and judges were getting shot because they didn't have the security back then. And so they had to change all of the judges' seating so there was lead, and so the judge had somewhere to hide if someone pulled out a gun while they were in a court proceeding. And so they were just going to trash this, and they saved it.
1880s or 1980s?
1980s, 1980s, yes.
I'm pretty sure they probably had some of those issues back in the 1800s too.
I think they did. But I guess it became, this was before security. I mean, you think about it now, you go into a courthouse, it's like going to the airport.
Yeah.
But that wasn't the case 30 years ago.
No.
40 years ago, shit.
It's been a minute. Oh, it's wild. Old newspaper clippings, victory, Japan quits, war over.
Yeah, isn't that wild?
Downtown Lynn Creek before the dam water.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's wild.
This is a really cool spot. If we haven't said it enough, you've got to come check this place out. I mean, even the lighting, that stuff, that's 80s looking. I remember those lights back when I was in grade school, which is dating myself.
Yeah, quite a bit of a different property tour than what you guys are probably used to.
Yes, you're right.
Fascinating all the while.
Absolutely. So, November market update. We're sitting here in early December. It is cold. We've had some nice days. I mean, yesterday I went out and played golf. You played golf on Sunday in the 50s.
Yeah.
Today it's like a high of 40.
Yeah, back to chilly.
Yeah, back to cold, which I think most people just assume that, okay, now it's the time to pull back on my home shopping, pull back on listing. Maybe I pull my house off the market because it's dead for the next 3 months. Talk to us.
I mean, I deal with those conversations every Monday. Every Monday I do client under contract communications. So every Monday, all my sellers under contract, I call, I do a little mini market update for them. We have a conversation just to see if there's any questions going on. And, it has been fairly quiet for getting showings booked. But then on Sunday, over at Chris's condo over at Charleston, 2 pop-up showings just like that.
Nice. That was the superhero one.
Yeah, that was a Superman.
If you haven't seen that one, we'll obviously show you what it looked like.
Yeah, I'm working with a savvy buyer right now. He's been watching the market update videos and said, hey, you said that now's the time to be buying. And you look at the numbers in our spread from list price to sale price ratios, they go down this time of year. So in the winter months, we'll see less sales. So savvy buyers out there, if you're in the market to get a deal and you've been waiting, these are your months. This Q4, Q1, these are when sellers will be most negotiable and you have less competition from other buyers out there in the market right now. Sellers, you've got to be priced right now. If you're serious about selling in those market updates, it's not something where you go 2 or 3 months and see what the market's doing. It's much more frequent than that, just to get a test of what you're doing in the marketplace. Typically we see 7 to 9 showings before we get to a contract. So the name of the game is get people through there, get your place shown, which our buyer pool shrinks right now.
Yeah.
But the buyers that are in the market, they're savvy buyers, they want to negotiate. Sellers that are on the market are serious sellers that want to sell. So negotiations are happening, which is a healthy market.
So I wanted to ask you a question about something you just said, which was it takes 7 to 9 showings to get an offer on average. That's a really good metric as a seller to know. So then what I would be thinking as a seller is, all right, then Jesse, whoever I hire to list my house, how do we get 9 people in here?
We put free candy above the door.
Okay. And by candy?
No, it's really about maximum exposure. The more eyeballs that see your property, the more interest that you're going to have in a property by far. So that's the name of the game.
The average
exposure.
The average real estate agent typically puts it in the MLS, might have an open house. And anything else that's pretty standard that real estate agents do?
Put it on the MLS. It'll syndicate out. Standard agent will newer agents, they'll shoot a video out there and put it out on their channel. That'll hit just a close sphere of their friends. Yeah. You know more about that than I do. What's helps us out on our side of things is when I pair up with Jeff and do this, and then tap into his market of people as well.
Audience, yeah.
Along with Lake Expo. So when we push that out on Lake Expo, and say like a new listing, that goes out on the lake alerts. So everybody that signed up for those alerts, I think he has somewhere around 60,000 people will receive that lake alert that your property's on market. And the people that are signed up for that on Lake Expo, they are interested in the Lake of the Ozarks. Yeah. That's where they get their news. That's where they see anything that's happening at Lake of the Ozarks goes through there, along with what the videos that you do, like this top 6 places that you got to check out. Yeah. I mean, those get crazy views.
Yeah. It's funny we mentioned that. I'll mention it for a second, just so you can understand this as someone who might be in the market to do this. Is you can find a lot of channels that will focus on sexy things like go fast boats and women in bikinis. And yes, you'll see some of that here, but I also focus on the things that aren't the sexy, because to me, I'm not interested in millions of followers. I'm interested in Lake of the Ozarks
the core people.
The people that will buy, sell, and not just homes, anything here, right? Because I work with a lot of businesses, but and I think that's something that as an audience, it's important for you to understand that. And I asked that question kind of knowing the answer, but at the same token, I mean, that's why we are together, because there's a synergy.
Yeah, you got to sprinkle it with some different content, or else it's just boring.
Yeah.
I mean, how many people will watch this if I just came up here every week and did market stats?
Yeah. Well, if you were in a bikini.
We are not going to market test that.
All right, sorry, I digressed for a second. Let's get back to it.
Okay, so let's dig into the November. We would start with homes. If anybody's upset with that, let us know. We'll start with condos next time. But this past November, new lakefront homes, the new inventory was down almost 23% compared to November of 2023. This November, we had 57 new listings compared to 74 last year. Year to date, our lakefront homes market has seen a 16% rise in inventory, but monthly new inventory has been trending down since September compared to last year. Our average lakefront sale price was up 13% this month at $862,091 compared to last November at $812,000. There were 20 more lakefront homes sold this November compared to last November. And there has now been 20 more lakefront homes sold year to date compared to last year, even as inventory has risen by 146 lake homes. So inventory's gone up and sales have actually gone up in lakefront homes, which is a great thing for the market.
Yes.
Yeah. Months of supply has been trending down. So months of supply is if you shut off the faucet for new inventory coming up, how many months would it take to sell all the for sales that's currently on the market? This past November, we were at 5.3. We were at 5.6 in October, 6.4 in September, and 6.7 in August. So the inventory's actually been shrinking a little bit. Current year-to-date list to sale price ratio is just below 97%. This has been ticking down little by little. Buyers, like I said, historically, if you're seeking for a deal right now, Q4, Q1, this is when that spread will come down, that percentage will come down as much as possible. You just have less buyers in the market, so there's more chance for a negotiating room. If you're waiting for springtime, we're gonna wait until the interest rates come down, you're gonna hit a high competition market. And I've got another chart we can link to just for projected, like Fannie Mae's projected interest rates. We're looking at, and two other lenders in there as well, by the end of year next year, down to 6.3. So tracking down a little bit, but not huge leaps. We're not, nobody's projecting to be in the 5s by the end of next year. Of course, it's all crystal ball stuff. Nobody knows.
But I think that's a fair statement. In my connection to the mortgage industry, and I've listened to several speakers recently that said, don't expect much movement until 2026. And they don't even know if that's going to happen.
Yeah, and it's going to be a choppy ride to get there.
Yeah.
So it's going to be very difficult to time the interest rates. It's easier to time the market and pick up what you want. And again, I know everybody's been saying this for the past few years. Buy the house, be comfortable with the house, and look at refinancing it later.
In other words, I think this is the new norm.
Yeah.
This is the norm. And if something happens, well, maybe it'll dip down. But again, don't let that stop you from
enjoying life.
Yeah, building wealth, ultimately. That's what we're doing.
And making memories with your kids. That's what I see a lot of buyers here at Lake of the Ozarks. The kids have gotten older. Some are off to college, others are married and have kids now, and everybody's in different parts of the country, but Lake of the Ozarks is a home base. Yeah. And this will definitely attract kids and grandkids to come here in the summertime. All the events, the restaurants that we have here, swimming off the dock, fishing, yeah. And how many golf courses do we have around the lake area?
Well, we're gonna test out every single one of them.
We got to hit balls in the woods, hit all of them.
That's right. That is correct. If you know what he's talking about, then thank you for paying attention.
Current average days on market is down from last month, but up 42% from last year. November 2024 average days on market are at 36 days currently. Lake homes for sale by price bracket, that 300 to just under 500,000. Same as last month, 33 homes for sale. 500 to 749, 100,000, 42, up just one from last month. 750 to $999,000, 37, down 3 from last month. 1 million to 5 million, 79. It's still a fascinating number.
Yeah,
down 10% from this time last month.
Wow.
Over 5 million, 8 homes, up 2 from last month.
That's still fascinating too.
Yeah.
I mean, I would love to, and maybe somebody will remember this, like say 2 or 3 years from now, to compare now, so 2024 to the end of 2027, and how many 5 million plus homes, or 1 to 5 million homes there will be compared to what it is today. My bet, tripled. All right, set a reminder in our phones. Go back, watch this video. We got the receipts on it now. I'll tell you what, if somebody does that, you're my hero. You get all the swag.
Okay, shifting over to condos now. New listings this November was down 6% at 61 new condos to the market compared to 65 last November. Our average sale price for condos was up 17% this November at $385,014. Sales were up an amazing 61.5% at 42 condos this November compared to 26 last November. As of last month, 92 fewer condos had sold for the year. Now we're closing the gap. We're down to 76 fewer condos. I think last December we had sold 24 condos, so I don't know that we're going to catch up to last year, but it's been trending in a better direction. Months of supply topped out for the year in September at 8.7 months, We've been trending down now to 8.1 months. So we're still in a buyer's market for condos, but things are looking a little bit brighter. Current year-to-date list to sale price ratio is at 97.8%, so a little bit higher than what the lakefront homes are. Average days on market for condo is an ugly story for condos this month. Last November, we were at 28 days. Our year-to-date average is at 50, but for November of 2024, it jumped 129% from last November to 64 days.
Damn.
Yeah.
Why?
You've got some different things going on here to try to translate. So our average sale price is up, average days on market is staying up, but then our list to sale price ratio is still high. And our sales have been off, our inventory's up. So all of this to me translate out to, yeah, we'd like to sell the condo, but at a certain price.
Yeah.
If it doesn't sell, great.
Right.
If it does, we'd be happy with that too.
Passive sellers.
So you look at how many condo sellers, had a low interest rate on it, or they're VRBOing it out. And well, if I can't get this for it, I still have a 3% interest rate or whatever that was on it. We can still break even. We can wait until the market comes around and VRBO it out for another year, even if we're not happy with the VRBO rates that we've been getting on it. So that's still been an interesting one, because the average sale price has been up almost every month this year compared to last year. Sales down a little bit, inventory up. So people would like to sell, but they don't have to sell.
Yeah.
And I don't think, I had this conversation the other day with a buyer. Until you get to a major market event where people are forced into a sale, we're still at a supply and demand. People do not have to sell. So that's keeping that price up there, which is fascinating.
Yeah.
Very much different from what lakefront homes has been. Condos available by how many rooms? 2-bedroom condos up 3 from last month. We're now at 111. 3 bedrooms down 5 condos from last month at 158. 4 bedrooms available down 2 condos from last month at 26. Yeah. So the lakefront home market has strengthened this year, rising in volume at 7.34%. Condos have been making a strong push to come back this year, but still off 6.77% from last year. The single-family home market is in a neutral market, meaning that we still have give and take between buyers and sellers. We're trending towards a seller's market to where sellers have the upper hand, but it still takes 2 to tango. Condos, we're in a buyer's market. Sellers are forced to negotiate or remain on the market.
Good time. Good time.
In the old adage, your first offer is typically your best offer still rings true. As hurtful as what that is sometimes, the more days on market only invites investor offers, which are going to be much, much lower. And you put in an offer saying, well, if you want to sell it, here's an offer we'd be willing to give you for it. Yeah. And so many times the first offer is insulting and you pass that up, and 3 months later you wishing you had that back. Yeah. So it's very important to be priced right, and that's an ongoing conversation. It's very important to have maximum exposure. And I know us last year, before we partnered up with Lake Expo, we thought we were doing a really good job on social media. And once we partnered with Lake Expo, we got tenfold the exposure as what we used to. And we were one of the highest ranked real estate companies for social media.
Wow.
And now take it on with what you have going on in your people, that we have price, presentation, and promotion. So we can nail the promotion. We got to have serious conversations on price, and then we also have stagers available for that presentation.
Yeah, and we can virtually stage it for those that don't want real stuff.
Yeah, easy on the red rooms there, King.
I gotta have fun with it. So if you're watching this, thank you for tuning in. It's we're almost at Christmas. If you haven't been over to Christmas Village in Old Kinderhook, Kinderhook is festive AF, as I like to describe it. There's Santa sightings everywhere down here. There's one in this place the weekend coming up from this recording. They're at Osage, they're in Lake Ozark, he's everywhere. Go ice skate at Kinderhook while it's open. It's open until February, but it's open every day in December. So make sure you take advantage of that. Otherwise, it's a little bit limited hours once you get into January and February because of the hockey tournaments. And you've got Eagle Days coming up.
Hockey tournaments.
Hockey tournaments.
I tell you what.
On the ice rink, yeah.
Old Kinderhook is really making a push to become just one of the premier subdivisions around here.
I think so. I mean, they've got premier like people living there. So. But yeah, so you got Eagle Days. So at the time of the next recording, Eagle Days will have already happened. I believe it's the very beginning of January. So right about that time, we'll be doing this recording. It's awesome. If you've never been to Eagle Days, come down. It's on a Saturday in January, usually the first or second weekend in January, and they've got different stations set up and indoor stuff for your educational, outdoor where you can obviously spot eagles. It's really neat. It's a neat experience. And then just keep tuned in. We'll have all the goings on throughout the off season, and it's a beautiful, quiet time to be at the lake right now. Arguably one of the best times.
Best views looking out of the back window onto the lake. It's just very peaceful and serene.
Yeah, absolutely.
Merry Christmas, everybody, from our family to yours.
Happy New Year.
Thanks for tuning in. Buyers, let's get on the phone. Now's your chance. Now's the time to do it. Yeah.
We'll see you on the next one, and we don't know where we're going to be, so tune in to find out.
Take care. Merry Christmas.